birthday to you.
Turn it off.
Birthday to you.
Turn it off!
Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday
Turn it off!
to you.
This scene is the smoking gun for Skyler White's character flaws. Walt is in a leather jacket, self-assured,
Hi, good to meet you, Walt. Nice to meet you.
questioning why they're not being more ambitious.
I think we're gonna need at least 5, don't you think?
5?
At the show's beginning, Walt was overworked, underpaid, docile, demeaned, and miserable. Skyler wanted him like that. After 15 years of marriage, he'd gone from this
We need to set our sights high, is all. At least higher than here.
Walt.
to this.
Walt, the MasterCard's the one we don't use.
Okay.
Dominating him, emasculating him, emasculating him, emasculating.
Sorry, it does that sometimes.
Him, emasculating.
In the Breaking Bad timeline, this is when Walt somehow went from working at Sandia Labs to a high school. In my opinion, his obvious personality disorders would have kept him from keeping any job, yet he was still a genius.
Molecules change their bonds.
However, in the research sector, you need to go where the jobs are. Walt moved to New Mexico to work at Los Alamos, and then moved to Albuquerque to work at Sandia. Which brings us back to Skyler, who obviously had no intention of moving for his career. So, having burned his bridges at Los Alamos and Sandia, as seemed to be his style, he found himself working at a high school and a car wash. Getting back to the smoking gun, we can already see hints at Skyler's controlling behaviour.
Do you want to take a tour? Sure.
This was the house she wanted. It's the only house she was going to show him,
And believe me, because I have definitely looked everywhere.
and she had no intention of being more ambitious.
Yard could be a little bigger.
Going beyond this, she demeaned him,
Did you win the lottery and not tell me?
I'm serious.
wanting him to feel like a joke for wanting more out of his life.
Why be cautious? We've got nowhere to go but up.
The first episode tells us everything we need to know about her character.
What the hell is this?
I described it as mosaic folk art.
At this rate, in 50 or 60 years, you'll be rich. So how goes the novel?
It's not a novel.
You're not writing a novel?
Short stories.
Those really didn't sell.
She gave him fake bacon on his birthday.
That is veggie bacon.
Walt and Flynn were both surprised.
The hell is this?
So the fake bacon wasn't expected, meaning that she chose his birthday to introduce fake bacon to the family.
This smells like Band-Aids.
Eat it.
After a long and demeaning day, she had planned a birthday party without telling him.
Who are you people?
And to add injury to insult, she chided him for being late.
Oh, you're so very late.
We have to give her a break for most of her bad behaviour, like smoking while pregnant, because she was stressed by Walt spiralling out of control. However, this does not excuse her obvious character flaws.
I'm going to spell this out as simply as I can for you. You are a fool. To stay in that house 1 minute longer.
First is that she's a hypocrite.
But I can't be a part of it. I'm just saying, I can't sign it as it currently exists. My name, my signatures are all over those books.
She'll cook Ted's books because she's sleeping with him. So she only cares about herself and not her family.
You know that tiara that Marie gave us? Well, she stole it.
The fact that she's a selfish hypocrite is proven in this conversation.
People sometimes do things for their families. And what, that justifies stealing?
So I'll get high-minded. Skyler is Inspector Javert condemning John Valjean.
Now that's fancy!
Worse than Inspector Javert, she condemned her own family.
They should call you Fancy Pants!
So I love Hank and Marie.
See? I knew it.
And for me, the tiara incident is what cements Skyler as a bad person.
It's a tiara.
What kind of person returns a gift that's not even intended for them?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna return that.
Worse than this, she was horrible to Marie, showing a complete lack of empathy.
Clear lies. To me? Was that it?
So where are you? Are you at work?
Yeah, I'm at work.
In the series, there's enough subtext suggesting that Marie can't have kids.
Shouldn't be much longer. Is that okay?
You know, I love my little Pookums. You can leave her with me for the next 18 years as far as I'm concerned.
But obviously, it never crossed her sister's mind because she said this.
I need support.
Me.
The almost 40-year-old pregnant woman with a surprise baby on the way.
The surprise baby on the way?
Now I'm supposed to go, Hank. Please, what can I possibly do to further benefit my spoiled kleptomaniac
bitch sister,
who somehow always manages to be the center of attention? Because God knows
she's the one with the really important problems.
Finally, her constant manipulative behavior is shown throughout the entire series.
We have excellent health insurance. Best.
Telling Elliot about Walt's cancer to get charity. Holding an intervention to force Walt into treating his cancer.
I think you should do whatever you want to do.
What? Hey, can I get the pillow back? Because I agree with Marie on this one.
Hank?
What? Maybe Walt wants to die like a man, all right?
I don't want him to die at all!
What are you waiting for?
For the cancer to come back.
Bringing up personal issues against Walt during his group therapy. Tricking a shopkeeper.
I'm going into labor.
Pretending to go places to stress out Walt.
Where are you going? Can you at least tell me that?
Out.
Lying about welding fumes to quit her job.
Skyler, what about the welding fumes? Isn't that why you had to quit in the first place?
I didn't smell anything when I was in there.
Sleeping with Ted to get a divorce from Walt.
So, he knows about this other man, so then he'll sign?
Walt says he's not going anywhere.
You are a fool.
Devising the gambling alibi to make Walt look bad.
We want to tell you the whole story. It's a doozy, so hold on to your hats.
You're not writing a novel? You told me you were.
No, short stories.
Pretending to know how to launder money to get control of the car wash.
What do you mean, rude about me?
Telling Walt about eyebrows insults to convince him it has to be eyebrows car wash.
Something along the lines of...
You can always call your wife.
Ooh, that's gotta hurt.
Tricking eyebrows out of his car wash.
Sir, again, thank you so much. Really?
Yeah.
Tricking a locksmith.
Guilty as charged.
Well, then perhaps you can shed some light on this history of missing revenue.
Missing?
Tricking the IRS.
No, it's there.
Buying Flynn an embarrassing car because she doesn't want him to be popular.
Surprise!
Giving Ted an attitude adjustment.
I just want to get out of this alive.
Hey, step off, buddy.
Oh, no.
No! Please! I don't want to die!
Major pressure detected.
End of the line for you.
Tricking Hank and Marie into taking Flynn and Holly. Telling Jesse about her affair with Ted to undermine Walt's authority.
Did you also tell him about my affair?
Colluding with Walt to gaslight Hank and Marie.
You need to deal with this.
Trying to convince Walt to get rid of Jesse.
What exactly are you saying?
What's one more?
People defend Skyler by saying she was the victim who was being controlled.
Hi, who are you looking for? I'm Ted Beneke. I'm a friend of his.
But the fact is that she chose to stay with Walt, thinking she would get him on a leash again.
Maybe you could start thinking about an exit strategy.
Skyler only controlled Walt because he allowed himself to be controlled. And obviously, seeing his failure getting worse compared to Elliot and Gretchen's success must have made him even more of a fragile pushover.
Billions with a B. I look it up every week.
I think this is what made it so difficult to accept that she couldn't control him anymore.
Will you please, just once, get off my ass?
So she kept playing the game, and to be fair, she almost won.
What do successful car wash owners do? They buy more car washes.
Near the end, he's groveling for her permission to open a new car wash, which seems like a win to me.
I'll think about it.
Yeah, right. To be continued.
Skyler is a well-written character who progressed from antagonist to protagonist and back again incredibly.
You won't talk to Hank because you think that Walt is going to get away with this.
So the worse that Walt got, the better she seemed. But by the end,
I'm gonna talk to him. Make him see reason.
Talk to him. Make him see reason. So I'm clear. These are just euphemisms.
To say cheese.
This video might be contentious for some people, so if you're tooling up in the comments, remember the human.
I'd always heard primitive humans lacked intelligence, but I had no idea they were this stupid.
If you enjoy this content, please consider liking the video to give the channel a little push. Finally, I want to thank the people who have encouraged me so much by subscribing to the channel and leaving such positive comments.
You princes of Maine, you kings of New England.
Until next week, please don't do anything that we wouldn't do, would you? And if you don't do it, don't enjoy something.